Hello, my name is Jesse.
My name is Karen Deep.
Welcome to the Golden Note podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we are talking about another album from our list of 1,001 albums that you should listen to before you die. This is a list that was actually created by a very intelligent man who wrote for Vogue and another magazine from my research. I am blanking on his name, but we are going to leave it in the description box below. And it is also, the way we're doing it is we're getting it randomly generated from a link from a very crafty website. So we're going to leave that link to that very crafty website in the description box below as well. But today, that generator has given us the album Low by David Bowie. And so we are going to talk about that with you today and see what we think about it. I think we have some strong opinions.
Yes,
so
we do.
We are going to work through them. But let's start with some of the historical background. David Bowie, classic, legend. Do you have any thoughts about David Bowie before I continue on, Karen? Anything that you would like to mention?
David Bowie is an individual. He has a legacy. I don't think anybody sees life art the way he's seen life and art. And for that, I really appreciate the work he's done.
Yes, I would agree. David Bowie is an icon. Rest in peace, David Bowie. So his album Low, this came out in 1977. Now, this came out before his pop era where he released, some very classic songs like Just Dance, Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. Great song. Love that song. That came out in like 83, I think. So 1977, for a few years away from David Bowie's pop revitalization. From what I read, this was inspired by him getting clean, I think with Iggy Pop. And I think they went to Berlin together to get clean. And he was inspired by a lot of the German electronic music that apparently was popping off at the time in Germany. And he kind of used some of that in his instrumentation for this album. Before we get into the music, I would like to talk about the cover and the title.
Yes.
So, Karen, what do you think about the cover and the title?
Well, the cover and the title is just one word, Low. So we kind of want to look at it together, or I would want to see it together.
I think the title's kind of mid.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Mid.
Maybe even
Low.
Oh.
I think it doesn't tell you much about what to expect, but it does tell you this is David Bowie. And to me, I would have liked a little bit more expectations. I would have liked to see a little bit more storytelling from the album. I like the orange. It stands out.
Giving fall vibes.
Yeah.
It's giving autumn vibes for sure.
But I don't think it speaks to me. I wouldn't pick this up off the shelf just from the album cover alone.
Yeah. He's trying to be really like indie hipster on this album by the looks of it. He's wearing like his autumn coat. He's out for a walk.
For 77, that's a very interesting coat.
He's looking serious. Yeah. More context, actually. Thanks for bringing up the year. It just sparked some more historical memories for me. This is the year that punk rock really broke onto the scene and became its own genre. We had bands like the Ramones and the Sex Pistols. Like, this was like their breakout year, and they got really famous, and they were the talk of the town, especially in the UK with the Sex Pistols and their kind of, very edgy demeanor and songs and controversial song topics. So this album came out when punk was being a thing, and it just shocks me that he released such an album that's like so
how would you even describe it?
Opposite to like what was going on at the time. It's kind of cool that he did that. So yeah, I guess getting into the music, because I think we can agree that the cover and the title are both extremely mid and doesn't do anything to excite me whatsoever.
Yeah.
So music, I'll give an overall view because I really don't have a lot to say about specific songs. I have like one or two songs I might want to talk about. Overall, this was a bit of a chore to get through. It was mind-boggling and not in the positive sense. Um, it was kind of like I was continually glancing at my phone, going, "Okay, when's this song over?
Yeah.
When can I like move on to the next song, and then move on to an album that I actually enjoy listening to?" Um, do you want to give like a brief overview?
Yeah, it most of it didn't truly speak to me, but there was a few moments that I really appreciated. I think overall, it's a case study on how to use synths.
Okay. Yeah, it is very synth heavy.
I think at the time and what he was doing with was quite imaginative and very appropriate. He expanded the role of what a synth could be and how to layer all these different sounds. I think this is all done on tape. I'm assuming back in the day, it's definitely no Logic Pro happening here or MIDI instruments. So I think his imaginative dedication to creating these sounds was quite the statement to be made. And yeah, once again, it's a case study of how to use synths, exploring synths, and that instrumentation in this type of type of artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of synths in this. One might say too much. I
At
don't know.
times.
Yeah, at times. Okay, let's go song. Let's pick out some songs, I guess. Speed of Life had a cool instrumental intro.
Yeah.
And there's, right off the bat, we're seeing cool use of synths here that I enjoyed. But yeah, I
I
don't know.
appreciated the instrumental intro, but I think I was expecting to hear vocals off the top.
Yeah,
So I was kind of in anticipation waiting for him to sing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that classic David Bowie? The song Sound and Vision is cool. It's got a cool groove at the beginning. Well, once again, we're seeing a lot of synths. The only thing is, it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
It just kind of
It,
hangs
it
out.
feels like a feel good vibe of the time. Similar, like it borrows from Motown a little bit. So I felt like this was the crowd pleaser, but even then it wasn't that pleasing, you know?
Yeah, there's like he's got like a weird effect on his vocals too. But it's kind of artsy. I kind of like it. The bass does get really groovy in this song,
Yes, it
Sound and
does.
Vision, so I like that. There's also the song Always Crashing in the Same Car. I love that title.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I wish I made a song title like that. Like that's really cool. I like.
This one felt like a fever dream.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in a completely different world, losing my mind. I really like the harmony and the guitar solo in this one. I think it was very effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, the title "Always Crashing in the Same Car" threw me for a loop. I was like, I wonder what that would be like. And this song kind of gets a little close to that,
Yeah.
little peek into that
Yeah.
chaos.
Yeah. And it's like, are you like, stuck in Groundhog Day where you're just like living the same day and then you're just like crashing in the same car in the same time? Or is it like, you're just like crashing, you're just living your life and you're always just like crashing in this one car?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like the lyrics were mid overall. This whole album,
Yeah.
lyrics were kind of a miss for me. I believe he created such interesting soundscapes and environments with with the instrumentation and the arrangement, but I wish he could have told more stories and fleshed them out a little bit more. That would
Yeah.
have really grounded it a little bit better.
Even with the soundscapes, I feel like some of them were disjointed. It felt like he was throwing in instruments that didn't actually sound good together.
Yeah.
I don't know. Going back to Always Crashing in the Same Car, the vocals also sounded low in that particular mix.
Yes.
And I feel like this album so far has been my least favorite album in terms of like mixing. Like I definitely noticed mixing problems throughout, I feel like. So yeah, I don't know. Like not much to say, folks, about this album.
Rough.
It's really weird because like David Bowie's such a behemoth in the music industry in terms of like his legacy and his albums. And when this album got generated, I was like, what album is this? I've never heard of this in my life. And it's like I'm not like a David Bowie expert by any means, but like I know his stuff a little bit, and I had never heard of this album before, so it shocked me a bit that this even existed.
He keeps pushing boundaries and trying new things, and I think that speaks to his work ethic and what he's willing to produce and to create. And I think this album is a testament to that. But it's kind of a hit. Sorry, kind of a miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a hit.
Yeah. If I had to say nice things about it, I would say it's definitely experimenting. It's definitely trying new things. It's got some cool new effects for 1977. Like the things he's trying on this
Yeah.
album is definitely I don't know if I'd say boundary pushing. Maybe like he's trying new stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
So a surprising amount of layers to these songs with all the synths stacked on top of each other. Like,
yeah.
took a lot of resources. I can definitely feel like it took a lot of resources to create this stuff,
Hmm.
and at times the parts feel stale just because of how much planning had to go through to actually getting the sound on
Yeah.
record.
Yeah. So in terms of recommending, I would say this album is if you like experimental stuff, if you like hearing artists try new things and kind of take things in different directions, if you like an artist that changes up their sound and style from album to album, this album might be for you. You might enjoy this album. There's not, in my opinion, it's just not very accessible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really made. It wasn't made. I don't think from Bowie to like appeal to a wide audience.
I don't think he doesn't do much to appeal to white audience.
He does. Yeah, I mean, he usually doesn't care. I don't think that much. He's very much a true artist, and you can get that sense by listening to this album. But hey, props to him for being creative and doing what his heart desires. And I think that's all you can say. Just for us, it didn't hit.
Yeah, there was a few moments though I do appreciate that I would like to share. My favorite song off the record is one that doesn't really feel like Bowie at all, but it was Warsawa.
Okay.
Warsawa. And I think there's like a, I don't know the language. I haven't looked into it much, but it's like a native kind of chanting, kind of choir. Reminds me of like old African songs, and it just set a great tone that I would love to have heard more in this album. It was very grounding, had a lot of soul. The instrumentation was very pleasant, a lot of sustained chords compared to the edgier melodic riffs that he was playing on synth throughout the other songs. So that this one really felt grounded to me. That track, and continuing from that, the similar moments were carried from the last two tracks, which was "Weeping Wall" and "Subterraneans." That felt like a two-part movement. "Weeping Walls" being the first one, second one being "Subterraneans." They've connected quite well. They had a very similar grounding feeling to it, and it was definitely unlike any other songs on the record. The last track, "Subterraneans," it felt like the second movement of "Weeping Wall," and there's a great bass tone. It filled up exactly how you wanted a bass to fill in that space, but you knew it was a synth, and it just used to me that defined what bass synth was and what it was meant to be. And as knowing that this record from Rose from '77 felt like that he did it right. He did it right for a bass synth tone in that last record or last track. And there was a saxophone in this one, and I wish after hearing the saxophone at the very end, I felt like I wish there's more saxophone sprinkled throughout the record because that would have made everything make more sense.
Yeah.
Especially how it ended. So I think the saxophone would have grounded this album a lot more. Having one more real instrument, one more voice in there that was organic. But if it wasn't, if as that wasn't the case, most of it was a miss for me. But those last two tracks felt like it could have been its own thing. It could have been its own album.
Well, I'm glad you had those insights there because I'm really sparse on my on my notes for this album. So I think from there we can go into our ratings. So if you're not familiar with what we do, I'm going to give a rating out of 5. Karen's going to give a rating out of 5. Whatever score, whatever the overall score is, will be the final score for the album. And if it happens to be a 9 or above, we will give it a special golden star certification. So
we'll see.
Yeah. So for me, you can probably tell I'm not gonna give it a fantastic score. I'm really feeling a 2.5 out of 5 on this one.
I'm gonna have to say the same.
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah. Just barely passes. Yeah. Commendable effort, Mr. Bowie, for the creative instrumentation and experimentation on this album, but some more accessibility would be nice. I'd say
the potential was recognized, and I know I'll definitely be mixing my bass synth tones to Subterranean in the future because that's set very nicely. That's the only thing I really appreciated, though. So here's that.
Yeah, and I will try to take the confidence that you had in experimenting in this album. I'll try and take a sliver of that in
it's hard work.
My creative endeavors. Yeah.
Glad we can see some light in the low
in the Low
In the Low.
by David Bowie. Thanks for listening. Please leave comments if you agree, if you disagree, if you have more to say, and yeah, please like and subscribe if you're so inclined.
Yes, thank you all for watching and listening. Have a good one.